should be showing up here at some point, and he's the expert. He's really truly the expert because he is one of our fisheries biologists. So he usually can answer a lot of questions that even we can't. So when we get started, we're going to pass out a tray to each table. It's going to have some tools in it. Leave the tools alone. What's going to happen today is once we give you guys the fish, you guys are going to follow along with me. I'm going to give an example of what we're going to do. Eyes up so that we can move on to the next steps. Everybody think it all makes sense? Yes. You guys listen so well. Man, you're so quiet. I love it. You guys have any questions before we get started? Okay. All right. Well, let's go ahead and get stuff passed out then. You want to take trays and all? So we're giving you guys some diagrams. Start with. You guys just kind of
Thursday, yeah, a couple of days. Yes, yeah, we're hosting Thursday. Yeah, it's supposed to be lightning. Oh yeah, that's gonna.
Two pairs of scissors. Oh, Kev's not here. He's gone. Well, he didn't leave the baby.
Yeah, so if you guys can get at the lab station, hey, you guys, all those kids, show these guys one of the lab stations.
Pick up the tray very carefully. Yep, and move over here to one of these.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
Yeah, because these are easier to clean.
We'll see how it goes.
Give yourself a little more room here. Might need to twist it again. Kale, where'd you go? You're seeing myself here. I can probably do this a little bit more. There you go. And actually, I'm going to work over the pan. Yeah. It's good. Yes. It's good. All right, guys, everybody listening?
Yes.
Everybody listening? Eyes up front. All right, we're going to pass out the fish teas. They're going to be wrapped in plastic wrap. Don't touch them until I tell you to touch them and get them unwrapped, okay? No poking and prodding until we start working on it.
Girls, look excited.
Okay, well, that's going in here.
I was wondering if they
especially for this group, because they feel that nauseous.
No, he was
Keep your hands to yourself. Let's not get in the habit of touching anybody, because then you might forget.
Like a little bit. Okay, you guys ready? We're gonna go ahead and unwrap your fish, and then we're gonna talk about some of the external parts that they have. So to unwrap it, it's just gonna unfold pretty easily as you pull on that plastic wrap. Let's put garbage in here and use that for the trays. Although, yeah, just leave it. Yeah, and actually, I take that back. I think there's 2 there, so we could go either way. Sorry.
They're bringing around a bag to put that in so that they don't have to throw it in the class trash and sink it up all day.
Okay, is everybody unwrapped?
Yes.
So who can tell me what kind of fish this is? Who knows?
Thank you for raising your hand.
What kind of fish is this?
This is a hot. I don't know what the hot cutthroat trout.
Close, but it's not a Lahontan cutthroat. It's a rainbow trout. And they kind of look the same. There's a couple differences between them, but they do kind of look the same. So these, everybody paying attention? Up front. So these fish came from the Gallagher Fish Hatchery out in Ruby Valley. A lot of them are our breeder fish that we use because we needed bigger fish for you guys to be able to dissect. So these fish, they're bred down there. So if you look at them, you'll see that their fins, a lot of their fins are almost non-existent. Now this one, I've got actually one that has somewhat of a fin, but you'll see, you know, how some of their fins, do any of you guys have ones that the fins have all been rubbed off? Where they look like they're just little nubs sitting there? That's because they sit and they're in water, but it's concrete runners that they're in. So all the bumping and all the crowding that they have in there causes those fins to rub off. But the fins, who knows what the fins are for? What do they use their fins for?
For swimming.
For swimming? What part of swimming? Yes, ma'am. In the water, yep.
Balance.
Balance, yep. So yeah, the fins help them balance. That helps them keep that balance. What does the tail do? What do they do with that?
They use it to steer.
So the tail, that's part of the balance part, is with the fins. What do you think the tail does?
It can guide the trout.
Makes them go faster. So the fin and the muscles is what actually gives them the locomotion through the water. Now, if you look at your fish along the side, you'll see a really dark pink line down the side of of both sides of the fish. Can anybody tell me what that's called?
A sensor?
Well, that's the use of it, but what's the actual name of it? Yes, sir.
Lateral line?
Lateral line.
Lateral.
Yep. Good job. Yep. So that's their sonar. That's how they feel things coming through the water. There's a couple other ways that they feel through the water as well. They can actually smell through the water. They can smell danger coming or smell food coming. But the lateral line works as sonar for them. So good job. Glad you knew that. What about this hole down here? What's this called? Anybody? Yes, ma'am. No.
This one's not on your little diagram.
You know what? Yeah, it is on this one.
Oh, it is on
Mhm. It is on this one. It's the little hole right above the anal fin. If you look at your diagram, anybody see that? Yes, ma'am. The vent. Who knows what they use the vent for? What's the vent used for?
It's used for
That's okay. Who thinks they know? Yes. Yep, it's how they go to the bathroom. Yep, so they can get rid of all of their waste through it. What else is really unique about that vent that they can do it with it? Anybody know? It's also where they lay eggs from or lay the milt from. Does anybody know what the milt is? No? So milt is the sperm that fertilizes the eggs laid by the female fish. So males have milt and females have the eggs. Does that all make sense? Yeah. Okay, who can tell me what this part is? Yes, ma'am.
The gills.
The gills. What do the gills do?
Help them get oxygen from the water.
Very good. Very good. This is going to be the first part that we investigate today. Okay, so we're going to start by cutting off this part right here. Who can tell me what this part is? Don't just keep watching up front here. Who can tell me what this particular part is where my fingers are holding? Anybody know the name of it? Yes, sir. The gill plate. Yeah. And what does it do? Anybody know what it does? Go ahead. Yep.
It covers the gills.
Yep, it protects the gills. Very good. So that's going to be the very first thing that I'm going to cut off. So you guys watch what I do first. Welcome, Mr. Peterson. So when you cut it off, you're going to cut as far forward on the gill plate as you can so that you can really get in there and see the gills. And then you can stick your fingers down the mouth and be able to kind of push. Is everybody watching? That way you can see how the gills can kind of push out and you can separate them. There's going to be a couple different layers of gills there. So when you do that, once you get them separated, you're going to take your scissors again, carefully, not cutting your own finger. And you're going to see some whitish cartilage in there. It's a much thicker part with some extra little teeth looking pieces to it to cut the gill out. And then you're going to have a section that looks kind of like that. Okay, so let's everybody go ahead and pull your gill plate off, cut it off, and pull some gills out, and then we'll talk a little bit more about the gills.
I'm not touching it. Stefan's like, let me in here, man. We
can
can
slide
sideways.
Today, I'll tell you what. One of those days.
These might be the best.
What's that?
These might be the really tough.
I have petite hands. Those might not work.
So it'll be easier if someone uses tools and holds the gills. So if you want, anyone holds it. So you can.
Well,
Okay.
I'm not. Oh, you don't.
there was something. Which was kind of saying,
No, I think that third go.
All right, so once you guys are done with the gill, and all that we're gonna do is gonna see
Wait, can we get the eye too?
Right here.
You can make it your quicker in an hour and 45 minutes.
Can you? We kept getting held up like we tried.
That's funny. I didn't get. I got stuck behind one, but literally, sheriff goes right by me. It's crazy.
I mean, the passing lanes, I feel like they were needed, but yeah, it probably amplified some issues. Yeah, I agree.
Because like, especially when you're in the south, it feels like
All right, does everybody get their, everybody got their gills out? All right, eyes up front, tools down, please. All right, eyes up front, tools down. So let's talk about the gill. Why are they so red? Anybody tell me why the gills are so red?
Because I think it's like blood inside.
Mm-hmm. So what does really red blood mean? Anybody know what really red blood means?
It's really bad.
No.
Really healthy.
It's very healthy. Why? Why is really red blood healthy? Another.
Because it, like blood keeps them alive.
So it's because it's got lots of oxygen in it. So that's what helps keep that blood so red is all the oxygen. So now if you look at those gills, did anybody see the special little teeth on the inside of them? Can anybody guess what those are? Anybody have an idea of what those are?
Sandpaper?
Nope, not sandpaper.
What the heck?
So what happens if they breathe, if they take water into their mouth that could include oxygen and food, but they only put oxygen out through the gills, where does the food go? How does the food not go through the gills?
So that thing is blocking, like the gills. So the food does not get through the gills.
Exactly. So that's what those
So it
little
doesn't-
teeth.
So it doesn't suffocate.
Yep. So that's what those little teeth looking things are on the inside of your gill. They're called rakers. So kind of like sandpaper, I guess, but they're called rakers, and they keep the food from going out the gill and redirect them down towards the stomach through the esophagus. You guys have any questions on the gills?
Nope.
All right. Now we're going to cut into the fish, but I need you guys to watch. Okay. Watch up front. Watch up front.
Eyes up.
Tools down, eyes up. So this is how we get into all of the internal parts. We're going to make a couple cuts so that we can see everything on the inside of the fish while it's still in there. We're going to start with putting the scissors in that vent. Okay. And then you're going to cut all the way up the belly, all the way under its chin.
Why does that look cool?
It is kind of cool, huh?
It's
Yeah, it is pretty
satisfying.
cool. All right, so then the next cuts, we're going to take a cut from back here up towards the backbone, up towards the back, and then we're going to do the same kind of cut up here. And what that's going to do is that's going to open up a nice little, ooh, these guys froze well, a nice little opening. So once we get those cuts done, and I'm going to set them down to do it, then we're going to lay them back down, and we're going to cut that whole flap off without trying to cut any of the extra parts that might be attached to it.
On the right side of the fish?
The right side is the best side. to be cutting on.
When you
So once you get that skin off, it's going to look like this.
when you cut it, don't you cut through the ribs too?
Yep, you cut through some of the bones. Yep. Good job. Okay, so go ahead and start cutting your opening. Do what?
Someone can hold the fish.
Doing it with your bare hands.
Use 2 hands. Guess what my job is?
And keep it over the.
So I smell like steak
Yeah.
all the time.
Thank you.
The juice. Nope, it's called a fisheries biologist.
At one point, we were, I mean, really well. I mean, we were
All the way up under his chin.
have a shot at steak with different kinds of
Okay, so we want to do the right side.
And
So you're gonna want to cut, somebody else want to cut?
I still haven't seen, because this year the Yerington and
And then cut right there.
So it's over, so we have to beat out some other team.
Okay, so cut this part.
Pretty good. Yeah. No, my Pineville, not this year. They have every year except this year. Yeah,
So, like right
but they're
there.
not that good this year.
Keep going. Keep going.
Well, we really would have to beat out the mountain. We could possibly do it, but
You guys are gonna find out.
and with
Okay, now you're gonna want to put it on its side.
what they look at all. So. You know what?
Somebody can help pull that open. Yeah, those petite gloves just aren't gonna work.
I know that.
They call it a knee cup.
Keep going. Keep going.
As far as you can.
Try a little bit more. Alright. And same thing.
That's true.
Yeah, they're definitely in the west. So, but they were trying to. So there's 8 teams, 7 in the west, and then in the south, they have 5.
So someone can hold open the flap for you.
So it's like, those teams down in the south. Yeah, the west was always on the
I don't think we're getting it all the way.
They have.
All right, how we doing? Has everybody got them open? Almost?
There you go.
They gave those other guys to shoot. And that's the way they
Fantastic. I'm gonna have to suck it up.
Well, you're getting to its ribs now, so break it.
You good? I think we're just waiting on this group. All right, has everybody got them open? Okay, eyes up front. Okay, eyes up front. Who can tell me what the esophagus does? What does the esophagus do? There might be a cheat sheet in front of you on one of the papers that we sent out for you, or put out for you. What does the esophagus do? Anybody know? Yes, ma'am.
The esophagus is where your stomach and intestines.
No, not quite. There's a key component before that.
The esophagus makes the food go from the mouth to the stomach, and it also passes digested food into the.
Yep. So the esophagus brings the food from the mouth to the stomach. So that's going to be the next cut that we make. All right. So just watch what I do. I'm going to take a tool like this. It might be easier with the white one with you guys. And I'm going to stick it into his mouth and down his throat a little bit. And then you're going to see, I don't know how well you can see it, and we'll come around and help you. Can you guys see that white tube that I'm kind of pushing on with the tool? Okay. And we'll come around and help you with this as well. So we're going to stick the tool down there, and we're going to kind of push that esophagus out a little bit so that we can get an easier cut. And we're going to cut right behind it. So with that cut, it's going to allow us to pull almost every other organ out, all in one sweep.
It looks so satisfying.
And then we're going to make another little cut down at the bottom.
Excuse me, you
That
need
looks
to be
Okay.
listening.
So this is what we're going for. All right. So let's make the esophagus cut, and then we're going to talk about all the other organs in there. Okay.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
What is the packet?
Oh, we're going to show you. We're going to talk about it.
Ooh, that top looks cool.
Yeah, the white. Other way. Yep, there you go.
Just ran over me.
Trey, you're going for
They kind of dragged it off. The crows were having at it.
Hi, Kale. Okay, so let's see. We're talking about all the different parts of the trout. These are the cuts that we've made so far. So the gills what are those stabby parts called on the gills?
Rakers.
Rakers.
Put that in there.
The rakers help keep food and stuff from entering into the gills, and they filter oxygen from the water. There's the gill plate, protects the gills.
Who's gonna pull the organs out?
Who's gonna
Just calm them down. Okay.
Yeah, because you won't let
Pull
us
it out. There you go. Keep pulling. Keep pulling.
I actually can't stay. Do I have to cut it? Out of the pocket.
Keep pulling.
I can't stay on top.
Get that little piece out here.
Trying to
There you go. Now gentle. Now cut it down here.
What's that? What the heck this
Well, I
is?
was thinking choking it.
Okay, so now just lay it down. Lay it out.
It's like we're doing surgery.
And don't poke. No more poking. Okay? No more poking.
All right. Everybody got them out?
Don't poke them.
Eyes up front.
Yeah.
Eyes up front.
So now if you look at your pile towards the front where you cut at the esophagus, there's a big red spot. Who can tell me what that is?
Is it the liver?
It is the liver. Good
That's what I was
job.
gonna say.
Good job. What does the liver do?
It helps it like it helps
You
it.
got a
swim.
cheat sheet. You got a cheat sheet.
It cleans out all the bad stuff.
Nope, not the liver.
It helps digest food.
It helps digest food. Very, very good. Now on the back side of that liver, we've got like a little, it's almost kind of clearish red looking with a green tint to it. Looks like a little bubble on the back side. Who can tell me what that is? Any guesses? Yes. Go ahead. You. Troy, you.
The spleen.
Nope, not the spleen. Any other guesses? It might be in the same spot as the liver on your cheat sheet. Yeah, what's connected to the liver on the cheat sheet? Yes.
Gallbladder.
Gallbladder. Yep, gallbladder. So the gallbladder, it holds a bile in there that helps to break down in that digestive process. So now you've got the esophagus, which we already talked about, and the esophagus takes food from the mouth to the stomach. Now these guys were not, mine wasn't anyways, wasn't very well fed before we froze him.
This one was, do you want to?
Yes, yeah, if we could. So you want to show him where the stomach is? So see how he's got like a real bloated section to the belly? That's the stomach. I think that might be the only one that's had a full stomach. Okay, eyes up front. Everybody up front, please. Would you mind showing the computer person too? We have some virtual learners.
Wherever that is.
Right about there. Okay, so if we were to cut that stomach open, and we'll do that here in a second so that all of you can see, it's got a bunch of pellets. It's really just broken down pellets in that fish's belly. And all of these guys are fed the same thing. It's a pellet base at the hatchery. If they were in the wild, what might we find in their bellies? Small fish. What else?
Bugs.
Bugs. Yep. Very good. Good job.
Eggs.
Well, the eggs aren't in the stomach, and as a matter of fact, I have some eggs in my hole with all the organs here. So when they have eggs or milt, it just grows in around all the organs in the cavity that we just opened up. So we'll show you a little bit more on that. Were there any with milt in them? Anybody find any milt? Okay. So milt will be a real white piece that just kind of flows through all the other organs. That's really, at this point, that's the only way that we can tell if they're male or female, is once we open them up, if they have eggs or milk in them. Okay, so back up here, back eyes up front. So if we got the stomach connected to the esophagus from the top part, the esophagus goes down to the stomach turns all the food around. Where does it go from there? Now the intestine. Good job. What does the intestine do?
Where the blood picks up digested food.
Where the blood picks up digested food. Yep. So that, and then where does it go from the intestine? Anybody guess? It's not on the cheat sheet. This one's kind of a surprise question for you. Where does it go once it's through the intestine?
Yeah.
Go ahead. You have a guess. I want to hear your guess. Yes, good job. Well done. Yep. So once it's all digested and it goes through all of that process, then they get rid of the waste, whatever they don't get any nutrients out of, they get rid of. So then we've got this little red spot. It's actually quite large. Who can tell me what that is? Somebody said it earlier. Yes, the spleen. What does the spleen do? Go ahead.
Filters blood, part of the immune system.
Yep. So they say that they can survive without the spleen, but it is a part of their immune system. So what other tool do they have for their immune system? It's on the outside of their skin. Anybody guess? It's not on the cheat sheet. Jeff's giving answers back there. No,
Scales.
no. The scales protect the muscle. What protects the scales?
What does your fish feel like on the outside?
It's super slimy, right? So the slime is another part of their immune system. That slime helps them with several different things. It's kind of got 3 different purposes to it. Anybody guess what those 3 purposes are? We kind of talked about one already.
One reason for protection.
What kind of protection? From what?
From
That's okay. Anybody else have a guess? So protection from disease and some kind of fungus that may grow on their skin. That's part of the immune system, right? They're super slimy, which makes it hard for us to what? To grab them and hold on to them, right? So it's protection from predators as well. And it also helps them glide through the water easier and through rocks and through vegetation. It helps slide them through all of that. So now we have talked about almost all of the parts that we pulled out. What part didn't we talk about yet?
The eye.
No, not the eye. We pulled just in this group, in this little patch. What have we not talked about yet?
Air bladder.
The air bladder. So who knows what the air bladder does?
It gives an oxygen.
Nope, it doesn't give them oxygen. Yes, ma'am.
It holds the air in.
So what is that? What's the purpose of that? Who knows what the purpose of them having air in their bodies is?
It allows fish to float or sink.
Exactly. Yep, it allows them, so they have some control over how full this air bladder is, and it helps them come all the way to the top of the water, or it helps them sink all the way to the bottom when they let all the air out. Pretty cool, right?
Yeah.
So here are some eggs attached to my air bladder that we'll walk around with and let you guys see all of them. These are real small eggs. They haven't developed much yet. All right, let me keep moving. But that, go up here to, can you see them? These are the red eggs right here. Right there.
So they're smaller than a marble.
They're very small right now. Yep, they're very small. Okay, so these are the eggs. They're still in early development before they ever get. Oh, that's what they look like before they leave the dish. Okay. So, should we cut the stomach open on this fish over here? Jeff, you want to cut it open?
What are we gonna do?
You guys are going to watch what he's doing back here because he's going to cut open that stomach that was really full and show you what was in it. Can you see, Kale?
I can't see it.
That is exactly
No.
what he ate. She ate right before. That's it. If you Google fish food,
pellets.
That's what's gonna look like.
Fish pellets?
You guys ever been to Twin
Yes,
Falls?
I can't see it.
And it smells like fish.
Yeah,
They make this fish food up in Buell,
I've seen
which
it.
is close to Twin.
I've seen it make it.
So here, look.
I don't see it.
There you go. Can I come around? That's it.
It's the stomach contents.
I'm not. Did he get to see it? You see that, bud?
Kale, are you looking? Looks like fish food. Yeah, it's like giant beta food, like what we had in the classroom. I think we're good. All right, is everybody eyes up here? Okay, we have 3 more parts to dissect and look at. Okay, the next one that we're going to look at, and again, cheat sheet. What's this part down the backbone on the inside? Anybody know what that might be called? What have we not talked about yet? This whole dark red stripe. The kidney. What does the kidney do? Yes.
So there's that waste product in the blood.
Good job. I like that you're using the cheat sheet. Thank you. Yep. So it's where it filters all the waste out of the blood, so that they get good, clean blood to be, build their immune system with, right? So that's going to be the next thing that we pull out. Okay, watch me. I'm using this tool, and I'm going to gently pull away this little tissue that's kind of covering it, and I'm going to start pulling down all the way down the sides and behind it. Now, sometimes this comes out in just a big pile of goo. Sometimes you're able to get a little string out of it, but you're just going to slide it all the way out down there.
Holy.
That looks so satisfying.
I wish I could donate
Well, I did
fish all
this
day.
last year, but I forgot how to do it. So.
I should do this all day. I getting blood on my hands.
I can also do this at home.
So now you see, it's just going to pull out like a big string, or it's going to be a gooey mess. But this is essentially what it's going to look like if you get it all out in one string, only a lot more of it. Okay, so go ahead and start working on your kidney.
If you mix those too much, it's gonna be a lot like blackberry jelly.
I want to straight just a little harder.
Little kids will have peanut butter and jelly for them.
So that tool might be too sharp for it, but that tool should work for it.
So go back up to the top and start real fast. It'll come out. There you go. Now you're getting somewhere. Scrape harder, and you're gonna scrape the back out. You're gonna want all that out, all of it. There you go.
Wait, this stuff.
The head is. Holy cow. I know the head is. And then what else do I do? I wish you could.
What else?
Holy God. You're going to actually get in there, so you can't see what he's doing here. So you're going to turn him this way a little bit. So you're going to get in there, and you're going to actually take that tool, and you're going to scrape. And you're going to scrape it out of there.
Scrape it. Oh, my hands sweaty.
Oh, I can get you so slimy. I tried not to get you too slimy. It's only your glove, though, so you're good.
And then you have to wash your hands after that. I'm going to bug my grandma that I got to dissect trout today. Okay, now you can do the rest. Me? No, not. You can hold it and then tell. I got so much blood. Who? Me? You? Yeah. No.
Yeah.
Just so you know, I hope you know that Kale's watching you.
We're actually gonna.
Oh my gosh.
Fourth grade, fifth grade, and sixth grade is the one class I never want to go back to.
Wow, this is your best job.
Hi, Miss. Hey. We had the same teacher for 3 years. You can't blame us.
No, they got like
The better one back.
Hey, the third graders will have me for 4 years, so. Because I had them for first grade, I had them for second grade, I had them for third grade, and next year I'll have them for fourth grade. So, and then I tease them that I will go on with them to fifth and sixth just for fun.
So is it, so you can grab the tweezers and see, because you guys probably got most of it out, don't you? So mostly loose. Grab the side that was down here and see if you can pull it out. The tweezers.
How exciting is this, Phoebe?
Are we all done? All right, eyes up front. Eyes up front. You guys all get the kidney out?
Yeah.
All right, good job. So the next one that we're gonna pull out is the heart. Did you guys forget about the heart?
No, I'm gonna pull it out.
All right. So what does the heart do?
Oh, and it keeps them alive.
Yes,
Pumps
ma'am.
blood.
Pumps the blood? Good job. Yeah. Wait, good to catch up. Good catch up. Yes, so the heart pumps the blood through the whole body, right? So the way that we're going to find the heart is where we cut up under the gills. It's going to be tucked in there behind some tissue that's up under the gills. It's going to be a darker red because it's got lots of good oxygen in the blood, right? And it's going to be a little triangle pyramid shape. And there's going to be one little cut that you've got to make to disconnect it.
They have like small.
They have very tiny hearts, don't they?
Yes, they have super tiny hearts, more
Yeah.
than ours. Ours is like big.
Yep. So that's going to be your heart.
Wow.
Okay. Can you guys see that? Here, there's the heart. You see that? All right. Yeah. It just slides down. Okay. So go ahead and find your heart.
I got way too much fun on my
Oh.
I feel like a cereal killer.
So it might be easier.
Yeah. Everybody does.
You might have to cut it. Sometimes. Careful not to cut the
Now where my finger is.
Oh, yeah, got the vegetable in there.
Gotta make sure.
Got blood all over me.
I got blood all over my hair. So it's gonna be like all.
You get it? Good job. You're a scientist for the day, right?
I love I want to be a scientist. I actually.
Oh, yeah.
You want to do the next part?
All right, is everybody done? Eyes up front. Eyes up front, tools down. So what do they use their eyes for?
To see.
To see, yes.
That's
Now, what is, who can tell me something that's not on the cheat sheet that's really cool about the way their eyes work?
They don't have eyelids.
No, they don't have eyelids, that's correct. But what about the way their eye actually works? Yes, ma'am.
They can feel the sides.
They can see on the sides. Yep, they've got great peripheral vision. And the reason why that is because the lens that's inside is especially made for that. And that's what we're going to pull out next is the lens. So to do that, we're going to start. You're going to take this tool, works the best, and you're going to actually poke it into the eyeball socket. You'll feel a little pop when you do that. That's going to allow you to lift the eyeball, the eye out, and then cut behind it. Okay. So once you get, you can try, yep. Watch up front though. Once you get the eye out, you're going to make a little cut on the back side of it. I recommend, I'm doing it in my hand so that you guys can see, but you guys need to keep it in the tray when you do that. So you're going to cut on the back side and create an opening. And then I forewarn you, these tend to squirt. Okay, so then you're going to slowly just start pushing around on it until you find a lens that pops out. Who knows what an Orbi looks like?
An Orbi?
Yeah,
I know.
they look kind of like an Orbi. So hopefully your classmate here can see that on my. So now you guys can go ahead and start pulling getting those out of the eyes. You can do both eyes if you want.
Hey, not yours. You can go. You can go ahead and talk to the class.
Amy, don't touch me with your gooey hands. Squeeze it, it much flatter out.
All right, there we. All right, go ahead. Someone cut it. Here you want to.
All in the name of science. Amy, get your filthy hands out of
1 minute till lunch.
it. You want to read the word? Amy, move.
You can do the other eye now.
They kind of plopped that across the whole thing.
Now, there may be two different size lenses between your fifth eyes. One might have a really big eye lens, while the other one might have a really little one.
He was in his pajamas every time I was by.
Kind of got to feel around, squeeze it from different sides.
Ew, it popped from the front.
It's safe. You got to keep working it. You might feel it around.
Get in there.
It's also because we don't want me to do it again. That's why we're hiding under the table.
Hey, it's 11:25.
It's not going to switch up, but you got to get cut right on the back of the eyes.
I can't.
See all you after lunch.
You're almost there. I can feel it. Oh, cute.
I remember I cut off the stuff.
We didn't give us any instructions. We just cut everything out.
Last time?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yours is really tiny. That's what's so hard.
Does that mean it has really poor vision?
Well, this side could be tiny and the other side could be big, which could be that eye was damaged at one point, poor vision in that side. So now that you guys got your tiny, you guys can try the other side too.
You should put that on your thing so you can, and if you cut out the other one, you can compare the vision.
That was part of the esophagus.
Here's the thing.
Nice job.
I gotta see it's cut. Olivia wants to.
Y'all you after lunch.
Stay right there. Oh yeah, this one.
I know, we're gonna be a smidgen late.
For what?
We're gonna be a smidge late for lunch.
Already 1 minute
You guys
late.
doing the other one?
This basically is our lunch. It's just we're not eating it.
Who says?
Yeah,
He's
maybe.
going straight to the cafeteria when we're done.
Nope.
Yeah.
No way.
No way.
Making fish tacos.
They don't even have enough time to come on, fishy. What part of the fish do you want me to do?
The flesh.
I'm going to the
So
table.
the stuff like directly underneath the skin right there.
I'm
So you're taking out all the organs and whatnot, which you wouldn't eat of the fish, but you would eat the flesh.
You're hungry?
She's hungry enough, she'll eat the raw. Well, Abby's already squishing it. I squished up my goo. I did something. That's what it is.
See ya. Bye. Right. See you right after lunch.
She said at least to the heart. I did the heart. There's a
You did it.
I want to. There's a let me pop it.
Okay, what we're gonna do is we're gonna come around. We're gonna come around with a box to put all of your fish parts in. Do not put the tools in the trash bag that we bring around. Okay, so just the fish parts. And then just leave your tools in the trays and we'll collect the trays as well. I recommend you don't take your gloves off until we're done coming around to pick up all of the gross fish parts, okay?
I'm
Once
not.
your tray and everything is picked up, then go ahead and take your gloves off. Yeah, all of the parts.
I want to throw the fish. We're opening everything now. Now open everything. I got some scales. I want to know. Yeah. Look at Ruby's nose. This is Kennison. Do you know what that is?
What are these? These are the ribs.
No. Wait, this
It's cleaner than your nose.
No, wait, what is this?
What is what? That right there? I would ask this man. They want to know what that is.
What is what? Let me see. Oh, that's the esophagus where you cut it. Remember when you cut that? That's just a little piece left over.
I want to cut this. These other mouths.
There's nothing in there.
Some scales.
It's just meat and backbone. But you guys have pretty much already cut.
Ew.
So, see that's its backbone.
So Phoebe, this is the part that you would eat down
Yeah.
here, that pink part. That's the flesh.
That's why it's hard to cut. That's just bone.
We just killed him.
Okay, so they're coming around with the bag. You need to clean the stuff. Put the fish on one side and the tools on the other.
All right, let's.
Trash it, please.
You're tripping its tail off.
Well, it's going in the trash. So
All the parts.
rest of the organs, put it in there. Come
And your
on.
paper right here. Grab that for me.
Nobody's gonna keep that.
I want to play that.
Okay, after you've taken out all this stuff, take your gloves off, and pull them into each other. So hold it. Just pull. There you go. Okay, oh, that was the most disgusting way possible to do that. All right. Yeah, so full on touching. Go watch it.
Sweaty. I'm gonna wash my hands before you go. Miss, my nose cleaning is